I feel like after Jungron's Spark Guide, Selfchill has been propelled into an almost mythic status. So today we're going to be covering why you might want to add Selfchill to your build. We're going to cover what it is that Selfchill actually accomplishes. And then we're going to isolate the Selfchill tech so you can apply it to almost any skill in the game without making a single change to your passive tree. Obviously, I'm going to demo it on my Spark character, but it will be applicable just in general. All right, so let's start off by going over the benefits of going Selfchill. To fully understand Selfchill, we first have to understand what it is that chill does. So chills last 2 seconds, and what they do is they apply up to a 30% less multiplier on everything that has animations. Now, the most notable ones would be cast speed, attack speed, movement speed, stun recovery speed, and we can get into more niche things such as trap throwing speed, totem placement speed. Really, the list goes on. If I'm missing something important, please let me know in the comments, because there really is quite a lot of things that are affected by reductions in action speed. 30% less multiplier is quite a bit. However, Selfchill takes this negative and flips it around to be a positive. So using a Selfchill mechanic, we are going to get a 30% more multiplier. And for some characters, like cast speed, attack speed is just insane multipliers for damage. And Spark is one of those skills. And movement speed is a premium for most builds, so getting a 30% more multiplier on that is very substantial. It's going to feel a lot better. Now let's go over the tech that Jungron uses for his Selfchill Spark, which can be applied to tons of different trees to the same effect. So first of all, obviously we need to reverse the effect of chill, and that is done through Winterweave. Winterweave has the line, the effect of chill on you is reversed. Now we're going to have to be able to be reliably chilled. So the way we do it here is through Call of the Void, where all damage taken from hits can chill you. And we combine that with a trigger wand that casts level 1 Forbidden Rite every 4 seconds. And that will self-chill us, although by default chill only lasts 2 seconds, so we need to multiply that by 2. Now the last piece of the puzzle is the Lethe Shade Keystone, which has the line 100% more duration of ailments on you. And this is enough to bump the 2 seconds chill up to 4 seconds, which is enough to have 100% uptime on the 4-second trigger loop. Now we have the issue of Lethe Shade being a keystone on the tree, which makes it inaccessible for some different ascendancies. However, there are 2 easy ways to get access to this keystone on gear. The first one is only accessible in the Forbidden Sanctum League, and it is the invocations, which we can anoint onto our sanctified relics. So in this league, it's as simple as buying the Lethe Shade invocation, putting it on our relic, and we are good to go. However, there's also an alternative that we can use in future leagues, which is the Skin of the Lord's body armor. Now this comes with a random keystone, and one of them is Lethe Shade. So we can swap our body armor for this, and then we are good to go. All right, so now we're going to demo this transition on our Spark character, and we'll talk about the pros and the cons of making this swap. All right, now this is my Spark character from Sanctum League. As you can see, we have a fairly standard Aegis Aurora max block setup. For the passive tree, we go nowhere near Lethe Shade, which means we're going to have to use some tech on our items in order to get this keystone. So let's just use these items to transition into Selfchill. First, we got to take off Call of the Brotherhood for Call of the Void. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to lose the NTR ring because this version of Selfchill requires Winterweave. The NTR gives us double damage, so this is quite a painful swap, but it is required, unfortunately. Now, for our weapon, our suffixes are chance to deal double damage, cast speed, and prod speed. We're going to have to lose one of these because we need the suffix trigger a socketed spell with a 4-second cooldown. So we're losing double damage, but these wands are essentially the same. We're going to have to socket level 1 Forbidden Rite into the trigger wand. This lets us hit ourselves for a max chill effect on a 4-second cooldown. And to make our self-chill last 4 seconds to keep the loop infinite, we're going to have to grab Lethe Shade. Now, we could use Alicia's Invocation of Lethe Shade, which right now is around 4 divines. However, there's not a lot of supply for this. So, you know, you're going to have to price check this and compare it to Skin of the Lords. I'm choosing to use Skin of the Lords. There's a lot more of these available. And I want this video to be applicable in future leagues where this might not even exist. So we're just going to take off our body armor, swap it with Skin of the Lords. Skin of the Lords is a really good body armor anyways. We get 100% increased global defenses, so we get a lot more energy shield, a lot more armor. We get +2 to level of socketed gems. Now Spark is quite good with plus levels, so that's great. And obviously we're getting the Lethe Shade as well. So this is the full switch. We've just taken out these 4 items and replaced them. Now, for me, I actually captured Merveil, which gives a 50% reduced effective chill on you. So if you've done this, you can either re-level a character, or you can simply choose another major pantheon. So I'm getting Cannot Be Frozen as a prefix on the boots. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So this is the setup. It's really easy to switch back and forth. I'd recommend, if any of you guys are interested in trying Selfchill, just go for it. If it's not for you, you know, at least you've tried it and you've had that experience. Although I think you will enjoy it for mapping because we gain a lot of bonuses. Let's talk about those bonuses. So I'm going to pull up my 2 POBs. The one right here is my character without going self-chill, and the POB here is the self-chill conversion. So as you can see, for the full DPS, we lose about half our damage. And this is simply because we're dropping the NTR ring. NTR doubles our damage. As you can see, I have 8 sparks here and 4 sparks here. But aside from that, the damage is pretty similar. And I haven't even optimized completely perfectly for self-chill. We're, you know, cutting some corners using Skin of the Lords. So if I had used the Invocation, I would probably actually have more damage. But let's look at the ways the action speed is changing our character. So as you can see, we do get a lot more cast rate. We get 30% more, although I am taking stuff off, so this might not be a full 30% difference. And the attack speed increase is very good for shield charge, because shield charge requires attack speed. So having 30% more attack speed is going to make shield charging through maps feel much smoother. And we're also getting a ton of movement speed. As you can see, it's, what is that, like a 60% increase? Now, some of you might be confused because this doesn't seem like it's a 30% more multiplier, but it actually is. Because the way movement speed works is you have a base of 100, and then you are adding, here, we'll take the self-chill off. You are adding 30% more to it. So if you add 30% more to 211, because you have to factor in the 100% base, you are getting the 60% increased movement speed. So self-chill, we're getting around 60% increased movement speed. That is quite big. And yeah, for cast rate as well, as you can see, 5.5 to 7.16, that is also a 30% more multiplier. Some things you would want to prep before you go self-chill is you're likely going to want to have a high amount of chaos res. Now, if you rewatch the B-roll footage from the start of the video, you're going to see every 4 seconds, my health is going to drop by about 1,000. That is the self-inflicted damage from Forbidden Rite with around 30% chaos res. You'd ideally want to get your chaos res closer to 75. Now, if you get too much chaos res, you might notice your debuff in the top for chill might not be minus 30, and that means you're going to have to take off chaos res, but you can get a fair bit of chaos res before you're not achieving max chill. So if you do go self chill, just you want to balance up here to make sure that is the full minus 30 chill effect. I need to end this video talking about Skin of the Lord's substitutes for socket, because the way Skin of the Lords works is you cannot recolor the sockets, and you may not be able to get the perfect sockets colors. Thankfully for Spark, there are a lot of good options for support gems, and I'm going to upload this path of building so you can have this resource yourself. However, we're also going to talk about it. Right here is a list of all of these are perfectly valid, so you can get a combination of these colors. Like, yeah, I wouldn't go for more than 3 green. I wouldn't go for more than 3 red, but you are quite flexible in terms of which Skin of the Lords you get. Obviously, you need 1 blue to have your Spark skill gem. And I would say 1 red is mandatory because Inspiration cuts our mana cost in half, basically. So you need 1 blue, 1 red, and with Skin of the Lords, we're losing a lot of crit chance, so you're likely going to have to use increased critical strikes to get your crit chance capped again. So that would be 2 blue, 1 red. And after that, it's sort of flexible. Awakened Spell Echo is great. Increased critical damage is great. Empower is really good in this body armor because the body armor gives you +2 to all gems. So your Empower is going to get an extra +2. So your Spark is going to get bumped up to pretty crazy levels. Right now, mine is level 30. Pinpoint's still good. If you have a 3rd red socket, I would use Cruelty support, and you can go Anomalous for a bit of extra crit chance. And here are the 3 best green gems, in my opinion. Hypothermia, Pierce, and Awakened Fork. So hopefully the Skin of the Lords options will remain quite affordable. I believe right now you can pay between 40 chaos if you get like some variants of these colors, and other variants might be up to like 3 divines. I'm not too sure. These prices are going to change. However, I'm quite optimistic that going Skin of the Lords with some variation of these supports is going to be affordable no matter what. All right, I hope this video helped to demystify Selfchill as a mechanic. It is quite accessible, and I do recommend you guys try it out if you are at all interested. Quite easy to just tech into it, and if you don't like it, no harm, no foul. You can probably resell the pieces of gear for about what you paid for them and swap back to your normal setup. I'm enjoying Selfchill myself quite a bit. I'm going to be playing on stream for the foreseeable future, and if I need to tech into, say, an Uber boss fight, I might want to swap back to the original setup, which does twice the amount of damage. But for most content, I think I'm happy with the damage I have on Selfchill. All right, I am going to go live after this video uploads. Hope to see you there. And, if not, I will catch you guys in the next video. All right, peace.